Hey y'all, and welcome back to our channel. This is our first official video and I'm so excited to kick this off with a video I have been wanting to make for months. You probably don't know, but Eric and I got married in September, on September 6th of this year in Muir Woods National Forest, or National Monument, it's called. It's a redwood forest outside of San Francisco, and it was just the best destination wedding ever, and I'm a little biased, but I want to share how we did our destination wedding, and I guess this is our first official real video. It's a video I've been wanting to make for a really long time, and it is something I planned totally myself with, you know, a little bit of help from Eric and my mom and sister, but it was just amazing, and I had trouble finding tips and tricks of how to plan a cost-efficient, you know, wallet-friendly wedding in 2019. So I wanted to share my tips and tricks, and this first video is going to be how we planned a destination wedding for under $15,000, and then the next video is going to be what we spent on everything. So if you're interested in this and you're a bride-to-be and you're planning your big day, keep watching. Number one, Eric and I knew we didn't want to have a wedding in Memphis. That's where we both were born and raised. We wanted something different. We really wanted to go past the social construct of what a wedding was. The wedding, term wedding has become so elaborated, and we wanted something different. So we opted for a national park. We searched for a couple weeks. We looked at Yosemite. When I say looked at, I mean online. We didn't physically go to these places. We looked at Yosemite. We went and looked at, I keep saying went and looked at. I promise you we did not go to these places just to look. Acadia National Park in Maine. We talked about Banff for a little while. We talked about the Humboldt Redwood Forest in Northern California. So that's sort of how we landed at Muir Woods. And that is because, one, Muir Woods is right near San Francisco. If you aren't familiar with the geography, it's up north. You know, you pass over the Golden Gate Bridge and you're about 30 minutes from it, 25 minutes from it. And it's beautiful scenery. We wouldn't need decorations. It would be a great place for a lot of our family members to visit as they hadn't been there before. What else do I have? A ton of things to do in San Francisco, but the most important thing was that there was a large airport near there. Since all of our family was coming, you know, from near and far, we wanted to make sure it was cost effective for them to be able to fly in. So that is how we chose Muir Woods. So I would encourage you, it doesn't even have to be a national park. It can be a square, like anything that is city run or government run is going to have options to have an event there. So that's why I would encourage everyone to do what we did, because it just turned out perfect. Next, get on their books ASAP. So we actually got engaged on October 16th of 2018, and we have this booked by late August of 2018. And that is because these, again, are event permits, but they don't just do weddings. They do, you know, Muir Woods does camping that people have to get event permits for. They do different like Girl and Boy Scout type things. They do picnics that have to have event permits. Anything with, I think, over like 10 people or 20 people, don't quote me on that. But you have to have an event permit for a lot of different things at parks. So that's why you have to get on these books early, because they can only have X amount of people permitted for each day. Check their website, they'll have all the info. We actually were in contact with one of the event coordinator, chief rangers, and she was amazing. She helped us. I called her multiple times asking questions. She gave us tips on how things work, and it was just, they are so friendly. There's usually a lot of paperwork, I will not lie about that, and the process takes some time. So, you know, just because you send your deposit and your application, you know, on the 1st doesn't mean you're gonna hear back within a week. I think it took us 3 to 4 weeks to hear back that we had the permit and we're good to go. So yeah, be patient. And another thing, you have to be flexible on your date and your time. So Muir Woods actually requires any wedding ceremony to be before or after peak hours. So that meant it had to be before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. After 4 p.m. in a redwood forest is pretty dark, so you're probably not gonna want that. But before was perfect. So I'd always wanted a brunch reception. So having a 9:30 wedding ceremony was right up my alley. Maybe not so much for everyone else, because it meant we had to leave our hotel, I think by like 7:30. So just add in getting ready to that and nerves, and you are up early. So yeah, be mindful of that. They don't allow permits on government holidays, so like, or those weekends surrounded by it. So like Memorial Day, Labor Day, all of that sort of stuff. So definitely keep that in mind. Next, search for your reception place or venue. Again, I say reception in air quotes because you can make this whatever you want to be. We had a sit down brunch for our reception and it was literally amazing. Another tip I have on this, do not look for reception venue. Don't go to the Knot or Wedding Wire and look up San Francisco wedding venues or San Francisco reception venues, because you're gonna get everything that is super, super marked up because it has the word wedding in it. You want to look for private dining or event space. So that is how I would definitely search for your reception spot. And ours was at Araceli Cafe, which if you're familiar with San Francisco, it is on Treasure Island, which is across in between the Bay Bridge and like Oakland area. And Araceli was wonderful. They had these different options where you could add in like tablecloths for X amount of dollars. You could add in florals on the table for X amount of dollars. And everything was taken care of by them. The food, the drinks, XYZ, everything. And they set up and take down. So you literally show up and you leave and it's like all done for you. Next tip, number 4, is keep it small. And I'm not even just talking about the amount of people that you invite, but I'm talking about just everything extra that the world says you need to have at your wedding. Less people at the wedding equals less stress, and it's already gonna be a whirlwind. Like, we had 37 people at our wedding, including Eric and myself, and it still was a whirlwind, but we really got to savor moments and make memories, and it wasn't just like a flash. Another thing you can cut some cost in and keeping it small is not everyone needs a flower. Your mom and your future mother-in-law don't need corsages. You can get them a little gift or token to commemorate that day, and it's not just gonna wilt away and be thrown in the trash by the end of the day from hugging people. Your fiance and his groomsmen do not need boutonnieres. The way we made something special for all of them is to get monogram pocket squares, and it's something they can use still after the wedding. And I think I'll have this in the next video, but it was under $10 per pocket square the way we did it. So we worked with Pretty Please Bake Shop in San Francisco, and they were wonderful. We worked with them by doing not a wedding cake, but just a cake, just a 1-tier cake. And that way it didn't have the word wedding on it, so it wasn't, you know, marked up. And they were amazing at getting that taken care of. I'll insert a picture. It was gorgeous. Number 5, do your research. Like, I think it was my second full-time job, just doing research on San Francisco and things to do and hotels and neighborhoods and food and restaurants and shops and excursions, everything like that. Like, you have to have it planned out. Like I said, don't just go to Wedding Wire or the Knot and do what they say. Like, use that. I did use those sites. But then, you know, add your own twist to it. Really, really, really immerse yourself in the city and talk to people who live there. One of my coworkers' sisters lived there, and she sent us a spreadsheet of things to do, and I mean, it was invaluable. For local small businesses to use as vendors. So for our florals, we used a place called Le Bouquet, and they're a local tiny little floral company there, and they were amazing. I really suggest you follow them on Instagram. Here's their handle. Check them out if you're a bride or bride-to-be in San Francisco. They did a wonderful job. And then we used Gig Masters to find our pianist for our reception. You don't have to have a band. Don't let people tell you have to have a band. No one's gonna be dancing on the floor at 11:30 a.m. I can promise you that. Well, maybe, I don't know. Your family might be crazy. Ours is too. Tip 6, save the dates. Send them early. You're only gonna be inviting, you know, close friends and family, so you wanna make sure they all can come. So send those save the dates early. We sent ours, I think, 11 months in advance, and just make sure they all know about it and that they're excited for it. And the really special thing about this is you're inviting people and they're gonna come, and if they come, that means they love you that much. They're all there for you, and I just think that's so special. For invites, you don't need the most expensive invite. We used Basic Invite for our invitations and Minted for our save the dates. I really love Basic Invite. They usually have a 15% off coupon that I'll put in the description box below if they do right now. But they have petite invites, and they're always cheaper than the regular 5x7. The petite are 4x6, and they're just as pretty. And That really can save some cost. They also have postcard invites that can save some cost on envelopes. Definitely do real RSVP cards if you opt for one that goes in an envelope and not a postcard, because you really need a firm head count for this to make sure you can plan it all well. Number 7, instead of doing a hotel block, try to find a bed and breakfast. So I think I called over 80 hotels, and turns out, I think I started calling hotels in October of last year. Turns out it was the America's Dental Association weekend there. So hotels, I mean, San Francisco hotels are already like in the $500 to $600 a night. Well, maybe not that much, but this weekend they were, specifically because everyone was booking up for this conference. So I somehow stumbled upon the Grove Inn, which is this gorgeous little bed and breakfast owned by a family that's near, the bed and breakfast is near the Painted Ladies, you know, the Full House houses. And it was perfect. They worked with us. All of my family stayed there, and it made it so intimate and fun. We were all there for breakfast. We were all there in the evening. It made Ubering super easy. That's another thing. I would Uber, not rent a car. That's just stressful in the city, but that's another note. You really just get to immerse yourself. Like, you're like near residential areas, not so much tourist areas when you're at a bed and breakfast. So I would definitely recommend that. Number 8, find an up and coming photographer. Photography and videography can really eat up your budget, and so I would really try to find someone who's really trying to branch out and expand their portfolio and their work. And so really it can be a win-win for both of you. We actually had a friend, I actually won a giveaway for our photographer, so we ended up flying her and her husband out for the wedding, and it was just wonderful. Also, this is a side note, but include your photographer and second shooter, photographer and videographer as a guest. Treat them as a guest. Give them a table with a place setting. We only had 37 people, and they had a seat just like my aunts and uncles. So I think that's really important that they feel comfortable, especially with a small wedding. There is going to be less people, so you want them to really feel comfortable and be part of the family as well. Number 9, do not spend $2,000+ on a dress. I had found a dress back a few years ago on Pinterest, and I loved it. I'll insert a picture here. And it was amazing. I loved it. I saved it in my phone for the last like 3 or 4 years. Finally figured out it was from David's Bridal. And you know, there's always the connotation of buying a dress from David's Bridal, but now I'm a believer. Like, I understand it. So we went to, I lived in downtown Nashville at the time, so we went to a couple of their bridal shops that, you know, charge upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 for a dress. And I just could not spend that. Then my mom was like, well, why don't we just go to David's Bridal and try this dress on? If you don't like it, it's okay. So we got to David's Bridal. I tried a couple of dresses on, and it was between two. A Melissa Sweet dress that was at David's Bridal, and I think it was around $1,300. And then between my dress, that was $450 on sale. So we got it for under $400. My veil was also from David's Bridal, and it was gorgeous as well, and a very nice brand. So I would definitely suggest you go to David's Bridal. They have wonderful dresses. They're super sweet there, and they have sale. No one's gonna know you bought it there unless you make a YouTube video and tell people. So there you go. But another thing, bridal boutiques. Yes, I do love following bridal boutiques. They're gorgeous dresses, designer dresses. But those prices are marked up, and they are the way they are because they're selling that bridal boutique experience. Like, your experience should be in your dress, shouldn't be when you get the dress. Yes, that should be fun and memorable, and mine was, but the experience should be the day, the wedding day. So really just weigh that. Again, just, you know, food for thought. Number 10, skip the bachelorette party. We didn't do it, thought about it. A bachelorette party is going to be $3,000 to $4,000 once you add up food, drinks, airfare, hotel, Ubers. So I would just suggest not doing it. Save that for your destination wedding. Spend time with your friends there. Number 11, and this is my final one, Etsy is your friend. Support small. We ended up going to Etsy for a lot of our different things. Our place cards, welcome back things, itinerary template, what else? We used Etsy for a lot of stuff, and I'm blanking now for what else. We're gonna have another video up in the next couple of days talking about actually what we spent by line item. So I know that's super interesting for people to hear. So definitely check back, and we'll talk to you soon.